This paper has a bit of a tooth to it, and so when we start practicing and using our pastels on it, you're going to pick up on the texture. So here I'm going to make a gradation between white and black, and I'm going to take my white pastel, I'm going to put very little pressure on it and hover over the paper a little bit. I'm going to pull the white a little bit longer than I need to, add the gray on top, and you'll notice that when I added the gray, there is a line. I've created a line. And that's okay. Adding the black, trying to hover over it and blend a little bit. I do need to go darker with the black on the right there. So putting a little bit of pressure. Now I'm going to take the gray and I'm going to use the gray to blend some of the line out so that we could have a gradation. Take the white and use the white as a little bit of a blending tool so it's a smoother gradation into the dark. Then we'll go into the earth colors, and I start off with the yellow, add a middle tone brown, and then I'm going to end up with a little bit of a darker brown. Then we're going to have to restate our light, middle tone, and dark. Here I'm going to go from pink to orange to red. I'm going to use the pink a little bit more, and then use the orange to blend that intermediate color. So after you've selected all of your colors, I just want you to experiment. Pre-select your palette colors, move from a light to a middle tone to a dark, and you can do this with your green and your blue. And while you're working, you want to really try to practice breaking up any edges that you create. Using the yellow to blend and also to bring up the intensity of that yellow. And do that with the blue. Now with the blue, I'm going to go from a light blue to a medium blue and out to a purple. Yellow to orange to green, and the orange and the green will mix to make a very neutral sort of color in the middle there. You can use the yellow to blend. Then I will use the same color again and then go into a green. Mix the yellow and the green together and stretch the green a little bit longer than I need. And then go into blue. Now the cool thing is that the blue and the green will mix together and create a very beautiful bluish green. And into the purple and blend up and down. Now in this next area, we're going to use some expressive mark making, and you can select a color that you really liked and just be fast and expressive. you can allow some of the color of the paper to come through. And then go into the purple. This just gives you an opportunity to practice a different quality of mark, a different quality of line, and just be playful with the way that you layer colors as well. In this next part of the exercise, you can see that I've pre-selected and laid out my palette of colors. And every grouping has a light, a middle, and a dark. And now we're going to practice building the volume of the form with light, middle, and dark value on a sphere. And so we'll start with this in the same order that we did on the other ones, white, gray to black. And as much as we want to add additional colors, I think it's a great exercise to just limit yourself to 3 values and try to make as much of the turn happen with those 3 values. Now you can see here, there is a clear line between the white and the gray, and definitely a line between the gray and the black. I use the gray here to blend that edge, or that edge that I had created, and I'm being very soft with my touch there and blending the gray to the black. And now using the white and doing the same thing to the top, just to round out the form. Then I put a little pressure on that white so that it can get a little bit brighter and really bring out a highlight and reestablish the dark underneath. We'll do the same here with this pink color. Pull the pink kind of longer than you need to. Stretch it out over the form, knowing that you're going to blend other colors into it. Orange on its side, not a lot of pressure. Just ignore all of the dust. Really hold yourself back from using your fingers to blend. It's kind of a hard thing to do, but if you could just use the pastels to blend, it will turn out a whole lot better. You just have to keep working the blending and really get a hang of what it feels like to use the pastel to blend on the surface of the paper. So now we're going to take these same colors and we're going to practice an expressive mark with gradation. So white to gray. Now you have a little bit of experience under your belt and know what you like and what you don't like in terms of creating those gradations. We're going to use the colors that we just used on the expressive gradation and now practice blending on a cylindrical form. So just loosely draw a cylinder. And then use the pastel on its side just to mass in or block in the light. Go a little bit further than you need with the light, and then use the middle tone on top of it and go into the dark. Create a gradation and blend. And then try this again with another color of choice. In this case, I'm just following the same system or the colors that I really enjoyed working with. So here is the pink pastel, loosely drawing the cylindrical form, keeping it fairly light, not a lot of pressure in my line work. Going to the orange, using the pastel on its side, to the red, and then just blend. Really try to create the roundness of the form by blending with the orange into the red and a little bit into the pink and reestablish the highlight. In this next section here, you're going to see that I'm pre-selecting my colors, maybe going to use the earth colors, yellow to a reddish terracotta color, and we're going to practice drawing the cylinder, but this time we're going to use some of that expressive mark making. We're going to curve the marks just a little bit around the edges so that they can turn around the form. You always want to allow some of the previous color that you laid down to stand out. Going to a brown, depositing a little bit of the middle tone brown in the darkest shadow side, just so that it's a little bit easier to layer. I'm going to darken the right side there. And blend some of the line work there. Continue to blend with the pastel. Just cleaning up some of the breaks in the color. And just keep moving through the form and reestablish your lights, highlights, deepen your darks and clean up the edges. And then this is a great introduction to the work that you will do with pastel.